Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So, in the last episode, I did briefly mention I'll be demonstrating something about action care plan. So in so I'll just show you. So action, sorry, not action care plan. My apologies. Action plan, right? Now, think about a scenario, right? When you are a case officer or when you're representing say government agencies where your prime responsibility is to make sure that you take care of all the licensing and permits, right? So but that being said, right, you do have certain sets of checklists which you often go through, right? For instance, you verify signature, you set up an appointment, maybe check the relevant documents, right? All of this stuff. And let's say uh, you have to do this one at a time. Like, for instance, your first task is to say, verify the signature, right? Once the signature verified, then you check the other relevant documents. And once that's done, you contact the applicant to say, look, your applicant has been successful or whatever, right? So let's say, you have few checklists which you often do for every application. Now, you can write it down somewhere if you want, like your old sticky notes, or you can, by default, attach to um, you can write an automation uh, where you can attach an action plan based on a template. So imagine like you're dealing with an individual application as well as a business application, and you wanted to attach, say, a specific template with a certain task to every individual application, as well as you have a certain template which is applicable only for business application, but you have certain tasks which you often follow. Now, I think you might think, oh, I have no idea what this guy talking about. So let me demonstrate, and it makes it clear, right? So let's say I have individual application. Yeah. Now you can create individual application using a portal, which is um, easy way to do it because obviously a customer will be creating an application through the portal. They won't be coming to Salesforce, right? Because if I'm a user, um, I don't care or you use Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics or Monday.com or whatever, right? Why do I care? For me, I need a license, so I have to apply it. I fill the form. That's all I care. So obviously, if you're dealing with PSS, so we have a good interface that's built using Experience Cloud. I mean, obviously you need to build it because we've got existing template using which you can build it, and the user will perhaps a guest user or log in to submit it. So once the application gets submitted, you can build an automation behind the scene to change the status and whatnot, right? I'm going to mimic that using here. Um, or let's say I have a scenario, right? A customer called me, right? Say I don't know how to do that. And so instead, I'll say, okay, I'll create an application for you behind the scene over the phone, right? So I'm the case officer, or let's say someone who deals with application, right? So let's say customer called me. I'm in for so customer said to me, look, I'm looking to do, say, I wanted to apply for a license, a hair salon license, right? So how do I do that? And I will say, okay, I will, open the application for you. So what I normally do, I will go to individual application. So I will say new, and well, I don't have a record type for now. Just let's say the customer called us for a grant for hair salon, right? Uh, that would be a good scenario, right? Excuse me. Looking for a grant for a hair salon. Okay. So an application case. Let's say I already have a case. I use existing case. An account. Let's say the customer. exist in the system. If not, you can obviously create. Let's say, okay, you know what? Let's do fresh, right? I'll create a case to say contact name. Let's say um, just put it my name for now. An account name. Let's say I don't have this customer don't have an account. It's a person account. Uh, and Mr. Yeah, just put my name right. Because going should be fine. I hope you guys do know, right? The use for the person account. So okay, and status is new. Um, no, let's say he called us. Let's say the problem, right? Okay, requesting for a grant. Uh, okay, requesting for a grant. That's come on, that didn't copied for some reason, but just anyways. Okay, I mean you don't really, this is not a mandatory field, right? I mean, you can do it. This is something if you don't want, you can take it off, right? I mean, like I said, if I don't want, I don't want it, right? I mean, depends on the business process what you have in place, right? For just to keep it simple, I create a case and I say, look, this is account and the budget. This guy is requesting. It's a good practice to do, right? Budget name, grant, right? Amount he's requesting for, let's say $10,000, right? Period name I. Quantity is one. Description, budget, period and data. Just oh no, not today. All right, just say whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Um, Category, I would say it's for the benefit. Yeah. Application status, I will say submitted. Yeah. Or I'll say in review because I'm the case officer. I'm helping the person to open the application for the grant. Apply date is today, and amount paid. I don't care for now. So when I do save, so obviously the individual application record will be created. Now you pay attention to one thing, right? If you go to action plan here, I got a new plan here. So if I go here, so these are the two tasks I have: verify signature and set up an appointment. So now if I create, let's say, another application, let's say, um, let's say account, I would say test, say the same budget, right? Um, Category, I would say benefit. Application status, I would say in review. If I say submit. So if you look at the action plan, right? What happens is I got the new plan created. So that's the verify. So these are the repeated set of actions I do as a case officer, like verify signature, set up an appointment. Some people have like 10 of them, right? So it these or I would say like a checklist, and it makes it easy when you have a action plan in place to say I wanted to do this first and second first. You have the display order, like these are required, and so it makes my job as a case officer or someone who looks after the application much easier because I don't have to write it down. There's a high risk that if you write it down, your sticky notes get lost. Yes, I mean, if you're very organized, the chances of doing that, chances of something getting lost will be very minimal. But we can't really use the framework across every human people, right? Every human race, because people are different. Some people, you know, I will not say unorganized, but they might have a tendency to display things or scatter things all over the place, right? So just to keep it simple, right? um, Everything is organized using action plan and everything is in place. Now, how do you go about building this, right? You might wonder. So the first thing first, right? Like I said, you need to create a template. So you go here, you go to action template. So I've already created a template here. So it's pretty simple. Yeah. So you click on new and let's say, okay, let me show you first, right? Makes it easier. So I click on new and I put the name of the template and action plan type. You have assessment execution, or in this case, you can customize it. You can add more types to it and let the user add items to action plan. If you check that, users can add items to it, um, and then you choose which object you want this plan to be associated with. Like in our example, as you've seen, I've attached this to an individual business, right? Which means that I have selected, uh, sorry, individual application, not business, sorry, individual application. You could attach this to a business license application as well. So remember one thing: if you are, let's say, if you select um, sorry, individual application, you cannot use this action template with a business license application, right? Because it is linked to an object. An object type here is individual application, so you cannot use this action template with, um, let's say, business application. Okay, let me. Um, so once you do that, you save, and once you save, you get something like this, right? And once you, and then you will have an option to, you know what? How about we create one, right? That will make it easier. So rather than I'm talking, then you say, this guy is not really showing much. So I'll do action template. Let's say I wanted to do my favorite checklist, right? Action type, you can say, and I will link it to business application. Yeah, business license. Let the user add and favorite checklist. Always with your description, meaningful. And now you see that new generic assessment type. Now, obviously, you have to publish your template, right, before you can use this wherever you want it to use, right? In this case, the business license application. But you can't really use it because you can't. It hasn't been published, right? And if you try to publish it, let me show you what happens. It says you're missing something. That means is that you need to add a task. Yeah. Now, when you click on add a task, most likely you will find you won't have anything here. So depending upon the kind of task you want to add, you wanted to add a generic visit task or omni assessment task. Let's say if you wanted to add omni assessment task and you try to do something here, I got, let's say, few, but if you're trying for the first time, you might find you got none, right? So what you do in that case, you go here and you look for omni assessment task, and you come here and you create new, and then fill in the information and do that. Yeah. And once you do that, where's that boy going? You come here and let's say I will say document check, right? Display order one. Say, okay, so I've added one, but I got, like, let's say I have to verify signature, then I have to set up an appointment, right? I have to do 3 tasks. How do you do that? So you go here, new, generic assessment task, verify signature, that's the 2, and it is very important. And this is, let's say, if you don't want this as required, you can make it as unticked. But in this case, I said, nah, it's not important, which is a bit silly, but just to show you, we have this feature. Now I wanted to add one more. That is to set up an appointment. And that's the last thing. Yeah. And it's very important. So I am specifying the things which is really important. Let's say dog check is really not important. Let's say someone else do it, so you don't really put it as required. It's an optional, but other things it is absolutely important, so you make it as required. Yeah. Now you publish it. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will go to the um, uh, business license application. Let's pick up anyone, right? I have a lot of them here. So what I'll do, I have action plan here. Let's say I wanted to add a new one. I mean, obviously, you don't do this by going to, new plan and add it. It should be automated. So I, w- the the one which you have just now seen for individual application, where I'm creating an application and automatically a action plan get attached to it. That's because I built an automation behind this, and I'll show you. It's a pretty simple flow I've done. So what do you do? So I will say test plan action plan template. Obviously, if you don't publish your action template, you will not be able to see that template here. So that's why I said it's important to publish it. So once I publish it, you can see that here, and start date is very important, and I'll do next, right? So you can see that it's added here and it's saved. Yeah, that's all you got. So you got here action template. So you got a test template, and so you have a test plan here and it takes you here. Nice and easy, right? Okay, now let me show you the automation I built, which is pretty simple, very simple. I mean, obviously, the flow is uh, doing anything using flow is pretty easy to do in Salesforce. Flows, you go to flow here, and individual application. It's few components, right? Um, so obviously, the record trigger flow, right? Because what I want, whenever an application is created, it triggers this flow. And once you do that, I'm getting an action plan. And based on that, I'm getting a template name. And then I'm using assignments, creating an action plan. And that's pretty much it. Nothing fancy, right? So you can do something similar, or you can do other way, right? I mean, the whole purpose of today's tutorial just to showcase the importance of action plan, so that if you are a case officer or someone looking at the application, it makes your job much easier to understand the type of checklist you need before you go and authorize or approve an application, right? So that's the one advantage there. Obviously, I know that it's been heavily used in financial cloud. So PS has brought some of the functionality here, which is great. So you can use this way, or if you have a different use case, I'll be keen to know how you guys have used it, right? So that's pretty much I wanted to cover in this episode. I hope you guys have a brilliant and amazing Sunday. Adios.